Yeah, okay. Okay. Mm, So we'll start. Shanti and good morning to everyone. And today's session is based on the Murli that was read on the 17th. I think some of you were there on the 17th and some of you were there yesterday. And you probably are aware that this is based on that Murli. And Baba spoke about the subject of wealth and how fortunate and how wealthy we are. And therefore, we should have this awareness with us wherever we go, that we are so much full and our work is to give. So I'm going to start with little questions, few questions, very simple questions as we proceed. And then we're going to discuss in between a few details about that Murli. And maybe towards the end, if you have any comments, any questions, and then we're going to finish with meditation. Okay. So if you can be just ready with the chat box, probably for now, and then you can put your answers as we go through, if there is any response that you have. Okay, so let's start. So the first thing, so, if you can just put on the chat box the 3 words that Baba would reprint. I have already given you one, incorporeal. So this is the 17th revised Murli. Yeah. Japan says incorporeal. Amen. So Rakitan says, yeah, and Japan also. And what was the third one? Om Shanti. Girchavan says all the 3 answers in Hindi. Yes, in English. Okay, so we all know what we're talking about. This is the Murli that Baba spoke about, the 3 very popular words, very powerful words. And the title was The Means to Create the Best Position are 3 words. Incorporeal, honest, and benefactor. Yeah. So yeah, just be ready. If there is any other question, so you can type the answer. Yeah. Thank you. Rather than that. Okay. So what did Baba say about where to use this word? Anybody remembers that? He did not particularly say, but it was in that particular sentence. Do you remember where he used this word? Anyone? While bestowing, when souls come in front of you, yeah. Of course, you can only bestow when souls come in front of you, yeah? But in a very subtle way, Baba actually guided us in these 3 words. So he said that these are the three words you have to remember. And he very quickly, in one short way, he mentioned like this. Yeah, anyone can recall? He said that in all your situations, in different situations, these words can be applied. But I kind of, when I looked at it, it looked like he actually guided us for incorporeal, for being ornate, and for being benefactor. Anybody would like to take a guess? Just try. There is no problem. Yes, that is true. Usha Ben said to create elevated state. Yeah. Little teaser in the morning. Come on. You can look at the Murli. Look at the Murli again. It's a little bit further down when Baba spoke about this three words. Immediately Baba said, okay, shall I give you the responses? Okay, it was not directly mentioned, but it was implied. Aha, there we go. Now we're getting something. Okay, almost there, Rakiban got it. Yeah, almost. And Girija and action, yeah. Yeah. So Baba combined words and action together and just said action. But the three areas is our thoughts, action, and to be benefactor when we are doing service, because we are giving, no? Serving. So what Vinod Bhai was saying, whenever there is somebody who's there, we have to serve, and therefore we take that form or that the awareness of the word benefactor. When it comes to action, we need something very special, and we're going to discuss that in details. So the ornate part, and the first part is we should have this feeling and awareness of being incorporeal. And that is in our thoughts. Okay? That is in our thoughts. Okay? So this is, in a nutshell, Baba actually said a lot of things without really going into details. But you can try and make that an exercise that remember that every time you are seeing someone in your mind, I am a soul incorporeal, and I am seeing a soul. This is the awareness that I need to have. And in my when it comes to action, I need to have that powerful action. I need to have an action where I have so much in myself that I don't become needy to want to take from others. I am giving. And of course, the same thing. I mean, that power should be behind the action. And then, of course, the benefactor aspect should be nobody should go without having something. And Baba actually, in the last few Murlis of the normal class also was talking about this, that nobody should go without any gifts. You should always give something. And therefore you need to have. Okay, so we're going to dive a little bit deeper into this other aspect of the word ornate. This is quite a new word for me too. I mean, I don't see this use very much. So I just kind of was keen to understand a little bit more about the word ornate. So ornate actually literally means that to be with ornament or to be loaded with different ornaments. So, there could be a frame, but then on the frame, there could be some gold design, or there could be something where, there is something added. So you have a particular object, and then when it is decorated with, something. So the first thing that came to mind is we ornate the people from the military with the what you call the medals. Yeah? That is also ornating the soldiers, those who are, brave, and they have received some kind of recognition. So they get this, um, um, medals, and then it's put in there, and then they get stars. So that is a kind of ornating. Yeah. Any thoughts from your side? Any other example with this word? Any example of in the world, just a normal word, example of this where it is used? One of the things that comes to my mind is, when we go, okay, yes, before the wedding, the bride is ornated. Yeah. So, of course, in India, it's very common, right? And sometimes it's so heavy, whatever the goals, and then there's competition between one another. Yeah, that's of course common in so many places, but in particular in Bharat. Um, um, any other? So when you go to buy something, and we use this as symbolic as well. They say that something is fully loaded, or something has got all the features. You know, um, so that is also kind of ornation. It's something that has so much in it, and usually in cars, they say that this has all the, like, the top range, and it has everything. So this is also in that sense. But what ornament Baba specifically is talking about? Like, he went much deeper. Any thoughts? Remember what Baba was actually referring to? Aha, yes. So then it's very quick with it. Yeah, all the powers. Okay. So the word in the way that Baba uses is the symbolic ornaments that are given to a particular deity, huh? Which is those of, that will kind of evoke the idea that this person has all the powers that are needed. Okay. And Baba is encouraging us to have these um, ornaments. So the discus, of course, the discus has its own meaning, and there is a way that the discus can be used. That is the physical discus, but Baba is talking about our discus, and we'll go into details of that. So let's dive into it. Um, so Baba is specifically talking about the discus. And Baba asked a very interesting question about the discus. So these are ornaments, and they are symbolic of some kind of power. And in particular, this particular power, where you have the discus, but Baba is asking, is this discus spinning or not? And how would I know if this is spinning? I have a discuss, and Baba says that you need to use this, and um, it has to be working at the time of when you need. Okay? Aha. Okay. Yeah. Fisherman says that if you do not have weakness, then your discus is spinning. So, in particularly, he said that there won't be any obstacles in whatever you do if your discus is spinning. And what is the meaning of this discus spinning? It means that I'm aware. This is the discus of self-realization. I'm aware of all the time, the whole time, where did I come from? Where did I go? What happened in the cooperage? You know, I can spin this discus. And now at this point of time, where am I? Who am I with? You know, and then Baba made us go through that awareness and make sure that this discus is spinning. And because of that, any kind of obstacle that comes, we'll be able to overcome. Yeah. So if there are still obstacles in your life, we need to check if this discus is stationary, it is stuck, it is locked, or it is still spinning. Okay. So now, who has been given this ornament? Yeah, you will not feel the spin of Maya, because when something is spinning opposite, it stops your spin, right? So Maya obstructs your spin, and then Maya spins you the other way. So yeah. So who has been given this ornament? Whose ornament this belongs to? Yeah. Okay, this is Vishnu's ornament, right? So in that sense, then who we all are. If this ornament is for Vishnu, then we are all Vishnu. Yeah, wonderful. Okay, so this ornament, we are Vaishnavas, and the ornament has been given to Vishnu. And this is a particular group of people at the moment in the world that don't touch anything, any impurity, and they don't eat anything, any impurity. Yeah? So they stay away of impure things, and they stay away from even touching. But then, what's the meaning of this? What Baba means by this? So that's for them. And he says that you have this discus, and it is spinning. And so we are Vaishnava as well. So what does that mean for us? Okay. There's no impure thoughts or sanskars that I touch. Yeah. We don't have any impure thoughts. Yeah. Impure thought can never touch our awareness. Yeah. Yeah. So that's what it means. Now, I was a bit keen in this part, and I was trying to understand what is it that is impure. We become immediately BKs, and what are the first things that we start practicing as soon as you become a BK? In particular, what are the things that we start practicing? Yeah, never touching Tamaguni first. Yeah, that's right. So what are the things, let's look at this impurity, thoughts of the past. Yeah. Yeah, that's the meaning that Baba mentioned. There's nothing from the past sanskar that we touch. But what is impurity? When somebody says, that you're a BK, you follow, what is impurity? I was a bit curious about this word impurity. And in particular, so what kind of food thoughts, any of the vices is impure. Yeah, yeah. So the first thing that we do, I'm talking about very basic. We are told don't eat onion and garlic, right? I hope anybody is not. Nobody does here, but yeah. So does it mean onion and garlic is impure? The Vaishnav, they don't have impure food. They said, okay, no meat, no onion, no garlic. Does it mean that they are impure? Anyone? Any thoughts? You can speak also. No answer? They don't have control. Okay, so they can't take away our control. Yeah. But are they impure? Are they impure? This is very difficult, I think. But don't think too much. I'm just very simply asking a very simple question. Is onion impure? Think about it. That's why I never use. Yes, yes, of course. Of course, no doubt about it. It doesn't serve us. Yeah. Onion doesn't have impurity. Onion by nature is onion, right? It is a vegetable that grows on earth. Yeah. Um, these items have content that create imbalance. Yeah. So what happens is, there is something that is okay by itself. And, there is something else that is okay by itself. When you try to put them together, that's where you get an issue. And actually, to me, these are not impure entities. There's no need to hate, these things. They are just, you know, um, they are just elements and they are combined, they are chemistry, some kind of chemistry. But then when this interacts with the human function, they impair us in some way. So alcohol, tobacco, meat, onion, garlic has an effect on our mind usually. Yeah. Or there is some part of the way that our body function that it's, I like the word that brother used, it impairs us, it limits us in some way. So it's very important to understand things. Yeah. All the comments that I'm reading, they're perfect, and you can also read. Yeah. So let us try to understand things in context, and many times, we start talking to people and we start telling them in such a way that, as if like, and then have you seen people like, going in places and then there is smell of some kind of onion and they go like, oh, I don't know. I mean, did you feel? I do not understand onion and garlic. Please help me. Okay. What is it that you don't understand, sister? What do you mean by that? I do not understand. I mean, they're just vegetables, no? I'm just talking about that they are by itself just innocent kind of elements that are there in the earth. Like, we don't go and eat poison, right? Yeah, because we'll die. Okay. So it means that there's nothing wrong with the poison. It's just that it doesn't go with, sometimes, you can create medicine, from that. So, they use it maybe to create anti-venom and things like that. So there's no problem with all these things in the world. And when we understand impurity, we have to understand it at a different level. Yes, we're not supposed to eat it because they have an effect on us when we eat them. But to me, these are not actual impurities. They are just elements and they don't, sometimes work for us. And therefore, we just stay away from them. And you don't have to be, I think, I think very um, uh, um, activist about it. That you can't pass or you can't smell, or I mean, this is a world where impurity is everywhere. Baba is going to talk about this later on. So, okay, so let's move forward. Okay, so to me, the way I look at impurity is like weaknesses of those vices that has encroached our space. It has managed to enter, and it has managed to affect us in our behavior, in the way we deal with people. Yeah. So yeah, very good responses from all of you. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll move a little forward now. So not allowing, this is what you've answered already, not allowing all tamoguni thoughts to touch you. And what Baba said, we need to do immediately, just like when they get touched by people. I really found this very strange. Actually, we did have this also. It's a big time, something that we have in the Islamic culture as well, that, we have to have uh, a ritual shower also. Maybe some of you know that we have to have ritual shower, and we have to have to wash ourselves before we go to um, approach or do some prayers or things like that. So this is quite common, and those who follow it strictly, like I used to take shower before even becoming like every time, and these were showers not for just showering, but just to clean. And there was this point where if somebody had touched you, then you have to go and wash yourself, a small, like a short kind of wash before you go to pray, or things like that. So there was this kind of regulations, and I find it very, strange. And Baba says that what this means actually is that the area of your awareness, if there is anything that is impure that touches it, in your thoughts especially, that will start corrupting everything in your life. And he says that wash it with the water of knowledge. Okay. And then just to enforce, he says, have remembrance and heart to heart conversation. Whenever something happens, and this is very powerful, and this is very useful also. Okay. So we are all Vaishnava, okay, and therefore don't be bogged down by the details of the things, the physical things. Okay. Yes, do them, of course, in a practical way, but it's not about discussion and arguing about food and food and food all the time. We get caught up about this big subject, and we start fighting with people sometimes. At least I used to do sometimes. And we just end up with this. But actually, what is the state of our mind? This person who's avoiding all these things, what is happening is thoughts is open. Like our thoughts are energy, and it's open. So it's like there is a sphere where not only my thoughts, but other people's thoughts are also there, especially in this point of time. There is a lot of pollution in the area of thoughts. And we always pick, things from this. And you will see somebody talking something that you have never heard before in today's time. And the reason why they are saying that is because they're picking up thoughts in this, they're touching thoughts. And the reason is the intellect is weak. It's not able to hold that pure awareness, which Baba is encouraging us to have. And because of that, we start, picking. And what Baba says here is that in case a thought comes into your awareness, and this is not a useful thought, immediately wash away your mind. Okay, so you have to, it's quite interesting when we travel. There is a lot of complication about, having shower, because the first thing we ask, will we be able to shower if we travel, and this and that. But this is always there, and it's always working, and water is always coming. As long as you have the knowledge, you will be able to wash away anything that is impure. Such a practical way, such an easy way. Baba doesn't want to give us any kind of hardship, right? He wants to make it easy for us so that we can practice and we can get to our stage of perfection. So, there is one element that often comes into our discussions when we are in the centers, when we are interacting with other people, the point of bossiness, and on the other side is the spiritual intoxication. So Baba says that, when somebody is bossy, usually people avoid, or people kind of, bow down to their instruction. And sometimes, I notice, knowingly, unknowingly, you kind of try to use that authority that we have. But the way bossiness works, what's the element in which bossiness works? Why a person who's in front of somebody who's bossy will usually do what they want? What's the idea behind that? If somebody is bossy, you see everybody is following, yeah, they are very angry and they are very loud. And due to that anger and loudness, they create fear in the other person that if you don't follow my instruction, you are in trouble. Yeah. So that is the energy that Baba says that's people don't touch somebody who is bossy, but that's not the right attitude. That's not the way that we should actually carry ourselves in our actions and create fear in others so that they obey us, or we kind of create some kind of repercussion to them if they don't do what we want. Yeah? To lose my control, escapist attitude. Yeah, Girish Ben says. So Baba says, instead of that, have you seen somebody who's spiritually intoxicated? Can you think of someone who's so spiritually intoxicated that when you go in front of this person, whatever you have in your mind, it just changes. So I think what happens in spiritual intoxication, as I said, there is a pool of these thoughts. People who are spiritually intoxicated are surrounding themselves with very powerful energy. And when this powerful energy is there, anybody who comes is reluctant, to lie, to cheat, to try and harm these people, because they are very stable. They are very humble, yet with self-respect. Okay. So all these elements come in, and automatically, and they are very authentic and genuine. Okay. This is what I've noticed. Yeah? There's some kind of magnetic aura emanating from that person. And really, this is so true. This is so true. And some of the people, they have such big aura that not only when you come near, even in that area, there is nothing that can penetrate. This has been, there are many examples whereby people have actually, they come with the intention, like sometimes people come to try and attack or to try and steal something, and somehow they last minute something goes into their mind and they just change their mind. Of course it happened with Brahma Baba as well, for somebody who wanted to come and kill him. What was this? And we hear the story of Mama as well, right? So let me just read, there's some comments that I don't want to miss. Okay, so yeah, we've read that. But says they have love and truthful word knowledge, explanation, importance of word, methods to word. Yeah. They kind of, guide us. So you are a leader, you have to be a leader, but with spiritual intoxication, not with boastiness. You feel safe. Actually, this is a very nice word. People who are bossy usually are insecure. People who are bossy, they are actually insecure. Yeah, like a canopy. Right? So you create this canopy. Okay. So we just finish off. So what do we need? Baba mentioned this. So now we understand that, okay, we'll recap in a moment, but just let's finish this. What do I need to attain a stage of perfection based on the moon? What do I need to attain the stage of perfection? This really blew me off, when I read about this. It is there in the Murli. Anyone remembers? What do I need to attain the stage of perfection? Yeah, but practical. Baba said something practical. Become your own teacher. Very nice. This is Dijit DK. Yeah, very nice. Baba said that become your own teacher. Now, this is very powerful. Baba said that if you do not move alone, having become your own teacher, then you will not be able to attain the stage of perfection. So let's think about this sentence for a minute. If you do not move alone, having become your own teacher, then you will not be able to attain the spelling there, the stage of perfection. Okay. So this was so powerful, and it's something that we need to think about. There's Baba hint here. What does Baba say? What does this mean? Something that we need to reflect and reflect and reflect about. Okay. So I will stop here and I will leave you with this thought. And we'll do a little meditation just in a bit, like my father, the teacher. Yeah. You are also not only to become a teacher, but your own teacher. Okay. So let's open actually now for a few minutes of maybe questions or comments or any posts that you had in today's discussion, and looking at deeper into the aspect of that movie. Is there anything that you want to add? Maybe something else that I might have missed out, or anything that you'd like to ask or share? Yeah, anything. Please, you can unmute yourself, ask the question if you like. It's sharing time. So now let's open our microphones and share. It's all clear. So while you're preparing your questions, I just recap. Baba mentioned about the 3 words, and these 3 words will create constant feeling of being full in our awareness. And we mentioned the word incorporeal, ornate, and benefactor. And then Baba said that, in these 3 words, in our actions, in our thinking, in our service, we can use this word. Yeah, we should use this word. And then Baba went on and in particular, look at this ornaments. I mean, ornaments, Baba spoke about the ornaments that create power. One aspect that I did not go into details, but you need power to be able to do particular action. And this action will create transformation, and then we'll be able to attain that ultimate liberation. Right? So there is a reason why you need power, because power is what drives action, and the power has to be pure. But then what corrupts this power is, something encroaching, something going into us, and then we being influenced by that. So impurity is nothing, it's just that something that doesn't work with purity. It just doesn't match. Okay, so no more questions? Nothing? No
Om Shanti,
comments?
brother.
Please.
Uh,
Yes.
I had
Louder,
a question.
louder.
I had a question even when the Murli was read, but they said that required a deep churning. If you see in the first page, Baba mentions this one sentence, which gives us what is the benefit of wearing ornaments. Arrogance finishes, by having all the ornaments. So I was just churning on it. Even that day, we tried to find out a meaning. And before that, the sentence, if you see, the image that has all ornaments does not have any arrogance of the body. Okay, I know Baba is talking about the subtle ornaments, but taking the sentence as it is, when I am ornamented, you can see a person who's fully decorated. He just comes on the stage, he holds his head high as if he is the most beautiful person in the world and everyone has to look towards him. Similarly, as a BK, sometimes I get these ornaments. I alone have the disgust. I alone am the purest soul. I have been chosen by Baba. Oh, and I look as if I am the only Vaishnavite and everyone down or something else. Sometimes we say this kind of wrong nasha. So when Baba said arrogance finishes by the ornaments, I just wanted a little bit of churning in that.
One thing that why somebody is arrogant is because they are needy. When somebody has everything, then they won't be needy, Why there is arrogance? Because I want to prove something to somebody. I want to attract their attention to me. And I show. Yeah. Basically, it comes from ego. Yeah. So that feeling that I'm better only comes when you feel inferior. But if you are really feeling that you have everything that you need, there is two things about. I'll give you a question. Somebody who's very rich, what is the difference between somebody who's very rich and somebody who doesn't need anything? What is the difference between somebody who's very, very super rich billionaire and somebody who doesn't need anything?
In what way? You talk about accumulation?
What is the difference? There are two people. One person who's standing here, he's very, very super rich, is billionaire. And there is another person who's sitting on the ground, on the floor, near his hut, but doesn't need anything.
The first person has, he's just accumulating. The second person probably has, and he's constantly giving because he doesn't need, he just keeps giving.
So who is rich?
Naturally, the one who's giving.
The one who doesn't need anything. So
Okay.
To me, somebody who's rich is the person who has zero needs, and can give, is ready to give everything. That person is very rich. And the person has so much wealth, but is trying to hold his wealth in the fear that it will go away, and also is begging for more. This person is not rich, because they are insecure. The wealth can go any moment, you know. So in that sense, that when I have all the inner powers and all the ornament that I have, even when I am like, for example, these kings, they don't bother if they don't have wallet in their pocket. They don't worry, there's no tension. Like, they know that, that will be handled, you know. So even in the physical world, it's the same way. There's no ego that they would have, or they will not shyness that they will carry. Yeah. But when you are in that state, automatically arrogance goes away. Especially what Baba is talking about. When I am already in my self-respect, there is no need for me to get things done by being bossy. There is no need for me to show any kind of arrogance. This is what my take is. Yeah, somebody says that there is lack of contentment. And there is no contentment. So, to be rich is very simple. Just be free from need. You'll be very rich. There's no need for you to struggle. Yeah. Okay, now let's give a chance to somebody. Chandra Kala. You want to say something?
Om Shanti, brother.
Yes, please.
But just one question regarding perfection.
Yeah.
So how does really someone evaluate how far one has progressed towards perfection, and how do they really measure their consistency? And I hope here, when perfection means having a stage free from old scars and any attachment towards anything and everything in this world. Can you throw some light on that, please?
One simple way of checking that I use is that there is nothing that pulls me, there is nothing that I pull, nothing that is pushing me, and nothing that I push. It's a very simple formula that I use. I just make sure that in my life, there is no pull. Nobody is pulling me. I don't pull anybody. I don't push anybody, and nobody is pushing me. If I am in that state of complete neutral balance, that nothing can create that, I feel that is a very, if not perfect, but close to perfectness, because there is fluctuation. When I am completely stable, no matter what happens, my intellect is firm in remembrance. My intellect is firm in my awareness of who I am. So this is how I measure. And it is not about somebody else measuring this. It's about you measuring yourself. And this is that aspect of only when you become your own teacher. When we come to Gyan, we are inspired and we want to listen to this sister, to this brother, to this senior, to this one, this one. We keep going and going. And I remember myself, oh yeah, I just want to listen to this one. So good, so nice, it speaks so nicely. Unless you become your own teacher, you can never be perfect. And of course, get inspiration, have respect, and learn from others. But it has to be a learning by yourself, for yourself, and evaluating yourself. That's the only way whereby, because the measure is here. If something doesn't, like, I can adapt what you're doing and copy what you're doing, but that's not mine. That's not coming from here. You can say something, and just being an obedient person, I can say, yeah, yes, very, very good, very, very nice. But that doesn't go inside. What goes inside is what comes from deep within us, and that is the way to become your own teacher. That is the way whereby you are actually grinding your own ingredients. This business of being fed is good when you are sick. When you become well, you have to start feeding yourself, and if there is no effort towards that, then I notice that it becomes a very artificial, dry kind of Brahmin life. And that dry kind of Brahmin life will not give us progress. Sorry, I went a little bit on that. But does that make some sense?
Yeah, of course, Brother. Thank you.
Yeah. So just, don't accept anything unless it is deeply touching you inside. Just don't be nice and polite and, say, no, no, no. Just weigh it in your own awareness. At the end, change has to happen within me, you know. So that's very important. Being genuine, be authentic. Don't try to fit in and, just, create, and, even the Murlis, challenge them. Don't just, read and say, oh, yeah, yeah, Baba said must be right. You have to experiment and know it for yourself. Yeah? There's a very nice message here. I'll just quickly read that before our next comment or question. This is from Vinod Bhai, spiritual intoxication versus bossiness. Very nice. Agenda, godly work. This is a service for good of humanity. Should deliver knowledge and importance, procedure points of caution, wealth, power, transport, timeline, mini and maximum time duration needed, any previous experience that transport facility, material, priority. Can you decode this, Vinod Bhai?
Yes, brother. Shanti.
Thank
I expected this. What I was wondering was, to get a job done, people most of the times are in a fit of completing it without having a forth thought or an insight into it. So that's where the ignorance, as Radhamani sister also mentioned, it comes with an ignorance as to how to do it, and they delegate it to others. And that's where the anger and the loudness and things like that come up. And that makes the other person, the person who needs to deliver that service or do that job, gets into trouble as well for, at the first instance. So when a soul which is completely aware, who is very knowledgeable enough, experienced enough, knows about the task and delivers all these points, like understands the other person's limitations. Maybe it may be money, it may be the transportation, has to go to some far off place to get the job done, or doesn't know what could be the hazards involved in it. And if the boss, sitting on this throne of getting a service done, empowers the other soul, the nimit soul, to do the job by giving all this, then that soul is in a better position and accepts that responsibility to complete the job in time. I feel that is kind of spiritual intoxication that should be there in the person who is a nimit of getting a job done.
you.
Thank you.
There's a lot of understanding, and practically there are so many hindrances, to things. So we need to be able to understand, and we have to trust also other people. Don't have to doubt them, and. So there are so many hurdles that might come in a person's life, and there is a life that they are living. There are people who are working. So when we don't have this understanding, we sometimes, burden them. Okay, so we stop here and let's have 2 minutes meditation. And just now, let's go back again and refocus. We come back to our incorporeal, bodiless, in a state of complete balance, where there is no pull or push, completely stable. There is no one or nothing that is disbalancing my state. My foundation is firm. And I feel I've got so much from Baba that I don't even need to start asking and trying to accumulate anything because of insecurity. I am protected. I have the one with me who has everything, and he's given that to me as an inheritance. And just like him, I give that to others, not having any sense of ownership, just as a trustee, as the one who's been given the task to distribute. I share this with everyone, especially those who are against, those who are difficult, those who are challenging. They're the ones who are in need. If I don't satisfy them, then this disturbance will keep coming. I have to start with the ones who are critical, who are critically ill, that they are disturbing others and myself. Just because they've gone through their own life experiences and there's a lot of pain. So the child of the bestower, master bestower, full of all the treasures, full of all the ornaments, with power and self-respect. The one who doesn't touch anything that is of no benefit, of no use. In my thoughts, words, and action, I become master benefit. And I bestow them to others. So now let's come back. You're right in time. And before we end today's session, it was lovely having you and having this little thought about the module. And yes, keep enjoying, keep donating, keep giving, and reflect on the things that you've heard. If you like, maybe you can share it with other people as well. Because when you share, it becomes stronger as well in yourself. So thank you so much for this chance, and let's see you another time. Inshallah.
Om Shanti. Thank you, Baba. Thank you, Arif bhai. Thank you, Divine Family. And we shall meet tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
Thank you, brother.